Alright, so right now what I'm doing, I had taken some lemon yellow and put some red in there, and you can see it kind of gives you an orangey tint to it. And that's fine if you want something orange. But let's say you were looking to do a little bit of darker colors like a purple. So I've dropped some purple in there, and maybe you can see over here how dark this gets the more that you blend into the yellow. That's one way of making darks with your watercolor, with just using 3 colors. Right now, I'll make sure my brush is clean. Here's some cadmium yellow, and I'll put some water down here, and then we have some Alizarin Crimson. Make sure I use enough paint so you can see. And then we put some more water here. Let me move this over a little bit for you. And this is Ultramarine Blue. And these are the 3 primaries that I'm working with right now. I always have tissues because I constantly wipe my brushes and clean them. But you've got lemon yellow, alizarin crimson, and ultramarine blue. And you can see how these colors are starting to blend with each other. There's enough water on the paper, and it gives you an idea of how you can make purple from the red and orange or a warmer red by mixing the yellow. Now if you take all 3 colors, we'll put some yellow down first, and make nice round yellow, and then we'll take some alizarin crimson in here, nice warm red with that. But what happens when we go ahead and we throw in blue? First it looks like it's going to be a purple, and it's kind of a dark purple, almost a brown. And that's how you can mix darks, very darks, by just using your 3 primary colors. You can make them less intense by adding more water. You can make them more intense, obviously, by less water and more paint, like I'm doing right now. That looks a little bit of purple, but then when you add some yellow to it, that's almost like a pea green. If you were doing trees, dark shadows in shrubbery, you would have that. And that gives you an idea of how to mix these colors. If you take yellow and blue, speaking of trees, and you need green to do a tree, yellow and blue will always make you a nice green. So that's just a little primer on mixing colors using 3 primaries, which are yellow, red, and blue. In this case, alizarin crimson. That is a cadmium yellow lemon, and there's an ultramarine there. You can do some interesting shadow effects by just letting it mingle on paper. And you can use the same 3 colors to do very dark, moody grays, kind of, I call it a beautiful mud. And you can extend that to cleaner washes, but still a good darker watercolor. Use it as a wash to create depth. And you can also, if you're doing trees, you can take the yellow and mix it with the blue, and it always gives you a very nice green. So that's it for mixing 3 primaries. You can practice, this is kind of fun, you can just practice mixing these colors, doing abstracts. This looks like it would be a wonderful abstract right here if it were on a bigger piece of paper, or just something very simple like this, just to get a hang of what it's like to mix the colors. I hope you have a very successful and creative day, and above all, keep practicing. Hi, and welcome to my studio. I've been practicing today, and I've been practicing these color swatches. These are already made. I have a lemon yellow, an Aureolin Yellow, Alizarin Crimson, a permanent red, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, sap green, and burnt sienna. And what I've done is I've taken these colors and I've mixed them with the other colors. So what I did was I took my lemon yellow, made a swatch there, and I mixed my lemon yellow with my alizarin crimson, and I threw some water in just to see what kind of color it would get. And this is dried pretty light, but it gives you an idea that it would be an orange. And then I took my alizarin crimson and my my alizarin crimson and my Aureolin yellow, which is a warm yellow, and I made an orange with that. And consequently, I went and did more swatches of this, an alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue for a kind of lavender, permanent rose and ultramarine blue for, this is more of a reddish lavender. I took ultramarine blue and lemon yellow and tried to make a green, phthalo blue and lemon yellow and nice spring green, sap green and alizarin crimson gives me kind of a brownish green, and burnt sienna and ultramarine blue will give me a dark gray, and I can even mix it down to black, but I'll do another video to show you how to mix grays and black. And you can continue by mixing your colors, and then I mark the colors that I use for each of the individual swatches. And I use the basic colors that I work with. Ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, permanent red, Aureolin yellow, lemon yellow, and a burnt sienna, and a sap green. I have other colors on my palette, but these are the basic colors, and they will give you a number of different varieties. This is endless. And you also could mix down different color swatches if you wanted to. If you were doing, say, a floral, you could mix pink and blue for a nice lavender shadow. You could also put some sap green in there or yellow to bring your greens in if there are leaves. So you have many variations for something like this. These are fun to do. Take some time, play with them. It's relaxing. You get to see how your colors work. You can use a lot of color. You can use a little bit. You can paint over these. But it makes you familiar with what your color palette and water will do. Have a successful, creative day, and don't forget to keep practicing.